I am inviting you to find gratitude for what you do have. Gratitude for your faculties, gratitude for your hands, for your eyes, for your sense of sound, for your sense of smell, for your sense of taste, for your ability to enjoy food, your ability to enjoy social interaction, your ability to enjoy the way a pet, a cat, a dog feels when he rubs against your skin. You are listening to Turn Your Soul On Radio. I am your host and visionary doctor, Dr. Brandy Victory, and my mission is to assist high-achieving women in closing the gap between feeling unfulfilled to living a life on fire. It is time, ladies, to champion our own lives and turn ourselves on. This is Living Victoriously, ladies. This is how you turn your soul on. Hello, angels of love. I am so happy you're here today. Thank you. I am feeling so ignited and so inspired right now. Several weeks ago, I went through the flu and a big revolution with myself interiorly, and stepping on into the other side of that crazy inward spiral and unraveling. And now I'm just paying off so many bills. It's just so great. It feels so good. I just got finished doing my finances and like, wow, I just paid off all these bills and I put all this money in my savings, and I'm like, boom, yeah, baby. That's what it's about right there. I've started taking classes at the Boulder Psychic Institute, which have been amazing. So fun. We've been doing like self-healing work and healing work on others, and I've learned a lot of this stuff when I was studying with my shaman, Art Running Bear, but I just really wanted to tap into those tools that I have again, and it's been amazing. I've also started a chanting practice that I believe is just helping me ignite myself so much faster than any other chanting practice that I've done. I've done several in the past, but it's just like turning everything on right now. My vision is clearer. I feel my business is growing. My body feels great. And I'm so excited to say I just bought the domain Biohacks for Women. So, ladies, we're about to take a journey together where we are just optimizing our health, optimizing our lives, and making this world a better place, because there are tweaks that we can take all along the way that will just continually enhance our well-being and enhance the well-being of the lives of everyone around us, as well as our planet. On that note, I just want to share the sponsorship of this show from Purium Superfoods. This is a company that is a superfood company. It's all organic, very high quality, clean processed, high vibrational foods that I love. And I've been taking these products for at least 5 years. Specifically today, I want to share with you Power Shake. Power Shake is a green smoothie. It's literally a powder that you put into water and you shake it and you drink it. You talk about fast food. This is the fastest food ever. Plus, you're going to feel like $1 million when you drink it. It energizes me without even having any caffeine or stimulants in it. It's just highly bioavailable nutrients that just go right into the cells and feed your body. It is amazing. I'm offering you a $50 gift card. So if you want to try it out, it's usually like about $70 for a big tub that'll last you a month, maybe 75. And with the $50 gift card that I'm offering my listeners here, you can get that tub for $25. Like, don't stop yourself on this. Just go do it. Just go to ishoppurium.com. That's ishoppurium.com, ishoppurium.com, and enter the gift card Dr. Brandy. That's DRBRANDY, and you'll get your $50 off. So go do it. Go love yourself up, because today we are talking about how to love yourself even more deeply, and how limited self-love is holding you back from having your highest experience in the physical. All right. So this is not always an easy conversation to receive because we have so much self-worth and stuff tied up into our image of our body and what we think we're supposed to be looking like and compared to what we look like. There's a little bit of a discrepancy there typically in our culture for a lot of women. Not every woman. There's obviously lots of beautiful women with beautiful bodies on this planet. But I am telling you right now, your beauty doesn't reside in your body. So let that land, please, ladies, let that land. It's been a very difficult journey for me to come to that place of understanding that my beauty is not about what I look like. My value is not about what I look like. My self-worth does not rely on what I look like. And I'm inviting you to open yourself to those concepts and those ideas and those ways of thinking about yourself and loving yourself from that perspective that you are a reflection of God, you are a spark of creation, and you are magnificent and you have a lot to offer, and it has absolutely nothing to do with what your body looks like. So let's start with what it means to not love your body, all right? So there's lots of ways that we don't love our body. We don't love our body when we overdo or over-exercise. Goodness knows that is a very big one that I have to consciously pay attention to. We're not loving our bodies when we're overeating, obviously, or when we're not eating enough food throughout the day. I have so many women that are like, well, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and they're like, well, I had a green smoothie today. So they're thinking they're eating great because a green smoothie is great, but they haven't eaten anything else today. And so now their body is going into starvation mode and they wonder why they can't lose weight. So, not eating enough is certainly not loving your body. Eating out and not preparing your food at home is also an expression of not loving your body. Now, I'm not saying don't ever eat out. I ate out yesterday, and it was the first time in probably, since January, and it was so fun. I have to say, I didn't really love the food. It was okay, but it was fun to be in a social environment with a friend and buying her lunch and just hanging out and having something different than I usually do. So it's okay to eat out every once in a while, but the truth of it is, when you're eating out all the time, you're disregarding your body, your health, because I'm just sorry, there's just really no way to eat out all the time and eat clean. It just doesn't work. And most restaurants are using very inflammatory fats when they're cooking their foods. There's spices and ingredients like MSG and different things in the foods that you're eating or that they're preparing that are not, that's just not going to be serving you to your highest. Now, you can compare that with making your food at home, and there's a lot of women that I work with, and they're just like, oh my God, I can't stand to cook. And the great thing now is that there's so many companies out there like the Blue Apron and things like that that can deliver foods to your house. They can deliver all the meals, the recipes, and all the ingredients to your house. So it makes it really easy for people who don't like to cook, because they're like, well, now I have the ingredients and I have the steps to make this meal, and you can prepare it right there for yourself. And the beauty in preparing food for yourself at home is that you actually put love into it. So there's this the idea that everything affects everything means that if you prepare your food and with a deep sense of love and gratitude, when you eat that food, it goes into the love and gratitude go into your body. And there are restaurants out there. I know in Boulder, there's a place called Blooming Beets. I love that place. And you can feel that the people just are so grateful and appreciate being able to serve you. The service is amazing. And you can feel that when you eat the food. And the oils they use are avocado oil and coconut oil. So there's just a very highly conscious restaurant. But there's very few of those restaurants, especially outside the Boulder or California areas, that will take that much love and concern for sharing the juice of grace in their foods. And so, we actually went to a restaurant one time, and the cook came out, and he was angry. As a matter of fact, you could tell he was constantly angry because his face was red, and he looked very inflamed, and inflammation is more than just the foods we eat. This is an emotional inflammation. You can see it in people's bodies and their demeanor and their face. And this guy was just so angry, and we were thinking, wow, we're going to eat food that's been cooked by this guy who's angry. We never will ever go back to that restaurant because we know how energy affects everything. So the food you eat has energy itself, plus the energy of how it's prepared, all feeds and nourishes you if you're preparing it yourself from that state of just gratitude and love for yourself, for your body, for the food, for the farmers, for how it got to your plate, right? Other expressions of not loving your body may be reflected in being stressed out. Like staying stressed out all the time is not a reflection of self-love, okay? So if you happen to be that person who's constantly stressed out, do something about that. Like quit your job, get a new one, go start doing yoga or breath work, and you can do that in your own home. You don't have to go to a class to do that. There's lots of stuff on YouTube. Get a video, go for it. Take a bath every night, journal, do something, take a walk to mitigate your stress and make a conscious effort to not live that way. It's just a pattern, and we can all change our patterns, okay? Other ways are putting others before you to the point of losing yourself. So I don't know, probably most of the women that I work with have this pattern where, okay, well, I got to take care of the kids. I got to take care of my boss and the people at work. I got to take care of my patients or my clients. I got to take care of all this other stuff. And then there's no space for me. There's no time to do my exercise. There's no time to meditate. There's no time to do breath work. There's certainly no time to go to a class or go get a massage, and this is all story, okay? These stories are stories that you've made up and you've agreed to and you're living out, all right? So these are not stories of self-love. When you feel stuck and you refuse to change, that's not a story of self-love. That's a story of self-hatred or devaluing yourself. Another thing that is common is that women, especially if they've gained weight and they haven't been overweight before or in the past have had a good body or something, they cover themselves up. So they wear baggy shirts or they wear black and they try to hide their body. Hiding your body is an expression of self-hatred. Ladies, like really. So I want you to, I told you this is not going to be an easy conversation to receive, but I really want you to look at that. Are you covering your body up? And I want you to ask yourself why. And then the answer may come, oh, I feel fat. Ooh, I have this role. Ooh, I don't want anyone to notice me. Ooh, I don't want to draw attention to myself. Whatever the story is. But I want you to dig deeper, like go underneath that and go, why? What is that about? What was I told as a child or even as an adult? Maybe you had a boyfriend or a partner that was very unappreciative of your body, but you have the ability to change that story. And here's the thing, like when we're not appreciating our body, we're not appreciating the gift that God has given us. We're not appreciating that we have a body and that everything that God creates is beautiful. Like, this is a huge, huge thing. And I'm not saying that you're going to just be able to turn it on if your pattern is to gross out at yourself in the mirror every time you look at yourself in the mirror. You're not going to be able to just turn that around. At least I wasn't able. Sorry I said that. I wasn't able to just turn that around. I've had to work so hard and still do, okay? I still do. But there were times where I wanted to mutilate my body because it was I felt so horrible in my body. But I began working on this stuff a long time ago, and I literally would put a bathing suit on and stand in front of the mirror, like a two-piece, a tiny bathing suit, where I would never wear that in public, but I would put it on and I would stand in front of the mirror and I would just say, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body, I love my body, and literally just crying so hard because it was so far from what I believed for myself in that moment that it was just torture almost to even say it. And it sounds crazy because the true torture is the self-hatred, the self-mutilation and the self-devaluing of self, the devaluing of your body because it doesn't look a certain way, or you have cellulite on your thighs. I've personally got cellulite on my belly, and it just is not what we see in our culture as beautiful. In our culture, we've been trained that beautiful is the young, the tone, the tan, and our bodies, and the airbrushed, might I add, and our bodies aren't airbrushed. We're never going to airbrush our bodies, and bodies have cellulite. That is the way it is. Like, probably almost every single person on this planet has cellulite somewhere, even if it's one dimple, okay? And so, it's important to really take a look at if you gross yourself out in the mirror and you're covering your body up. I want you to just open yourself to a little bit more self-love. And how can you do that? We're going to get into that, how you can do that. Obviously, you can go do the mirror exercise, and I did that day after day after day after day after day. And the other thing I did, I'll just share this with you right now, is I found a part of my body that I really did love. Like, I really love my shoulders. I love them so much that I often wear shirts that have open shoulders because it reminds me when I look in the mirror, I see my shoulders and I feel beautiful. And it's so, 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 so important, ladies, that you find something that you love about yourself. Now, my beauty is not just in my shoulders, just like your beauty is not in your body. All of us are way, way, way more beautiful than our bodies because we are way bigger than our bodies. We're this flicker and essence of God and grace that has radiance and brilliance, and all of that is way more beautiful than your physical body. And when you tap into and begin to own and embody the truth about where your beauty comes from, about the radiance that you actually bring forth, then that radiance moves your physical body. It actually causes your body to change form. There's actually been studies where they found that thoughts change the brain, the shape of the brain, and the different neurons in the brain. And I'm telling you, this also extends to your body. So when you begin to sit in self-love and appreciation and gratitude for your body, like really on a deep level, then you're going to start to recognize that your body is something way more valuable than the cellulite on your belly or on your thighs. All right? All right. So to love your body is to love yourself. And to love yourself is just to say the biggest thank you to God, to grace, to spirit, to universe, whatever you want to call it, to creation. I mean, what if you didn't even have a body? If you didn't have a body, you wouldn't be here. Like, wow. Think about that for a second. I mean, some of my listeners actually have disabilities. I mean, I know some can't even walk. They're in wheelchairs. And if this is you, I am inviting you to find gratitude for what you do have. Gratitude for your faculties. Gratitude for your hands, for your eyes, for your sense of sound, for your sense of smell, for your sense of taste, for your ability to enjoy food, your ability to enjoy social interaction, your ability to enjoy the way a pet, a cat, a dog feels when he rubs against your skin. And if this is not you, what if it were? Can you find gratitude for your body? We take it for granted. It's so, so easy. We just take it for granted. We just get up in the morning, we go get our coffee, we take our shower, and we go to work, and we don't even think about what faculties that we have that not necessarily everyone has that allowed us to do these things and get us through our day and create in this world. Your body is your first point of physical manifestation. So everything physical, every physical experience, every physical expression has an energetic blueprint, and it's energy before it's physical. We think about the table before we build the table. We think we want to create more money or a bigger business or a better relationship before we create more money, a bigger business, or a better relationship. We think our thoughts create, and our thoughts are energy. And thoughts are energy set in motion. And then when that energy comes through into the physical, the very first place it manifests is in your physical body. So you can feel this if you think about a lemon. And you think about a bright, juicy yellow lemon, and you have a little knife and you cut it open, and you can feel the juice slide down your finger. And then you bring it to your nose and you take a big whiff, maybe even take a bite of that lemon, or maybe the juice runs into a cut and has a little sensation of burning. And just notice for a second that you haven't even experienced a lemon in the physical. It's in your mind, and your mind controls your body. Every single thought you have changes the way your body functions. So you think about a lemon and you salivate, or you think about a lemon and you feel a burn in your hand, or you think about a lemon and you can actually feel the vibrancy of the yellow because it's so bright. So every single thought you have changes the way your body functions. So when you begin to feel this deep sense of gratitude, this deep sense of love, then your body begins to shift on a physiological level, and it starts right there. Having your body be your first point of manifestation is really, really cool, because when you start to see that and you start to recognize that, you can really you can foresee what you're going to create, what you're manifesting in the physical. So a lot of times we're like, oh, but I want to manifest more money. And then we go about our day and we try to manifest more money, but we're not actually really paying attention to all the parts. So our manifestation doesn't come to fruition. So if we were wanting to manifest more money, we would sit, this is my practice. I sit and I meditate. I go into a space of stillness and quietness. I check in with my body. I ground. I pull up my protection from the center of my heart. It encompasses my entire body. And then I look around in my space. I look in my body. Is there tension? Is there gunk? Is there goo clogging up my space? And I let it go down into the grounding cord and release anything that I may be holding on to that is causing me to stay stuck, causing me to dampen my expression. And then I look around and I go, okay, let's look at my path. I know I've talked a lot about this, but I'm just kind of re-expressing it to you. So I look ahead in my path for the day, like what is it that I'm encountering today, and how is it that I would like those experiences to unfold? How would I like to feel? How would I like the outcome of those experiences or meetings or whatever I'm doing to come out? Maybe I'm going to the grocery store and buying groceries and I only want to spend $200 this week. So can I foresee that in this moment and feel the vibration of gratitude and grace that comes through as we set our intention for the day? And that begins in the body. You're going to feel it in the body. And once you feel it in the body, you've set the stage in the physical for it to be expressed even further. So you go to the grocery store and you actually spend $196.85. Wow, how cool is that? Then celebrate that shit. That's something to really celebrate, because you have set your intention and been intentional about what you're doing. So if it's to make more money, look at your path to make more money. Is there blocks on the road? Are there boulders or something, a wall up to where you can't get through? And what is it that you need to do to bust that shit down? What is it that you need to do to go over it or get around it so that you can be in the vibration on a bioenergetic level to actually get what you want, to actually create that in the physical. If you think, oh, I want to make more money, and then you feel in your body and you feel contraction in your belly or in your heart, That's stuff we got to work on, girlfriend. You got to get through the underlying belief systems, the subconscious patterns, and anything that may be holding you back that's keeping you in that contracted form, because contraction doesn't create. It only creates more contraction or anxiety or depression. So pull out whatever belief systems are holding you back. Pull out whatever patterns that you've been living out or that you were taught as a child or whenever that are a reflection that is not exactly what you want. So we all have a money story, and our money stories are usually a reflection of our childhood money stories, of what our parents did. And I don't know anyone really that doesn't want to shift something that their parents did. Like, our parents showed us what not to do, right? So we got to focus on how we're going to be different. But to make that change is huge, because this is all root chakra, earth, how we embody being here on the planet kind of stuff, like how we create and survival and all that stuff. And we've been surviving. So the storyline what we've been playing out has been working on some level. So if we rock that boat, there can be a fear arise that may cause us to think we may not survive if we make this change. But it's a story, and that's one of those stories that you can just let go. That's one of those stories that when you become clear about the self-talk and the storyline and what it is that you don't want to create, then that's when you can actually blow that picture up. You can let that go down your grounding cord. You can let that story be transmuted to light and fill your space up with something else, something more beautiful, something more radiant, something more abundant, something more in the flow. You get to choose how you feel, and you get to choose what you create. And if you're not happy with your body or what it is you're creating, go back and ask yourself why. And notice if there is something that comes up, some resistance or some I have convoluted things within my subconscious that I'm pulling out right now, and it's just amazing how easy it is to set aside the conversations with our higher self so that we can actually see what's been holding us back or why we're unhappy. So just notice from your higher self perspective if you are getting in your own way of even having this conversation with yourself. All right? So when you begin to ask why, like, oh, I'm not happy with my body. Well, why is that? Well, because I'm overweight. Well, then just get up off your ass and go exercise. Like seriously, do something about it. And if you're exercising, ask yourself if you're overdoing it, because I recently found that I had been overdoing it. Now, this is no surprise that I've been overdoing it, but I have been very committed to doing a bioimpedance analysis, which is a test on my body, and I do this every 2 weeks. I was doing it every 4. Now I do it every 2 weeks, and so I can really hold myself accountable and see what's happening in my physiology. And what was happening was I was working out, and I was going to work and working hard, and I literally probably burn 1,000 calories a day at work. And then I was eating well, but I was eating a lower fat diet, trying to like tweak it so I could make some change really fast. And what was happening over the last 3 months, up until this last month, I was gaining fat and losing muscle. Now the scale was going down. And that's the weirdest thing, because I know so many women, and I've been there too, that are addicted to the scale. And I've been where I'd get on it every day. There was a time in my life where I'd get on it multiple times a day, and then I actually threw it away so I could quit doing that. But I don't do that now. I do get on the scale every once in a while just to check in, see where I'm at. And my scale was going down. I was like, oh, I'm losing a few pounds. Heck yeah, right on. Well, understand that muscle weighs more than fat. So if you're losing muscle and gaining fat, you could be losing it on the scale and getting really excited, but you're becoming more obese. And that's exactly what was happening to me. And I was like appalled to see that happen 3 months in a row. I kept gaining fat, kept gaining fat, and losing muscle and losing weight on the scale. And then feeling like I was doing a great job, but realizing I was only getting fatter. And so I made some changes. I increased my fat, lowered my protein, and then I reduced my exercise by half. Now I'm only working out half as much as I was. And this last month, all of that has turned around. I've now lost a pound of fat and I've now gained a pound of muscle. So I've got probably another month or two to recover what I did, but at least I've got the formula and I'm moving in the right direction. That's self-love. That's giving myself the opportunity to be in my highest expression on a physical level, which then it allows me to express myself in the way that I came here to do. It allows me to be more on purpose because I'm giving myself more self-love. I'm allowing myself to have more recovery, which means that I'm in a better state of mind and I'm more creative and I have a better attitude so I can help more people. I can be more on purpose. If it's that you have cellulite on your body, here's what you do, all right? Get off the omega-6s and the inflammatory foods, like for real. I've done that like ever since the cleanse I did in the beginning of February, and I've stayed clean and I haven't been eating. I don't think I've eaten any inflammatory foods, maybe one time. And my cellulite's going away again. So I'm like, wow, this is great. And it really is a reflection of inflammation in your body to a large degree. It's also a hormonal imbalance, but I've been working on my hormones. And why is it just now going away? It's because I've turned my physiology around, because I've given myself less output and more recovery. And if you have cellulite on your body, look at if it's something deeper. I know Louise Hay in You Can Heal Your Life, she talks about issues in the body and the emotional reflection of that. And I can't remember exactly what she says, but what I've gathered over the years, because this is something I've looked at for a very long time, is that it's an expression of self-hatred. So if you hate your body, it's going to look like something you want to hate. And I also saw my mom do the very similar thing, and yeah, I'm very clear I don't want to fall into those shoes, and I've done a good job of doing that, but I'm also doing a good job of turning it around. All right. Then also ask yourself, is there a low or not so low level of self-hatred? All right. Is it that no matter what, you'll always find something wrong? Like I have been, even when I was in the tip-top shape of my life, I still felt like I didn't look good. All right. So I have that very perfectionistic kind of attitude, and nothing is ever good enough kind of attitude, which is great in the fact that it helps me move towards better perfection in everything that I do. But it's also a double-edged sword, because then I also can never be good enough. So I have to be really careful with that I can never be good enough piece, no matter what. And that could be in my body, that could be in my work, that could be in my management of my time or my money. It could be in my relationships. Like it shows up everywhere. Like how we do anything is how we do everything. How we do anything is how we do everything. So if you're having a reflection somewhere in your life, I invite you to look around and see how it's showing up everywhere else. Your happiness is not found in a good body, in toner legs, in better hair, okay? These things are fleeting, my loves, and they're superficial and limited. So, if you want to live in that more superficial place that most of our society is, you can go right ahead. But what about finding that place inside of you that's infinite, that's creative, that's empowered, that has something to offer, that brings radiance or change to other people's lives? That part of yourself that's an expression of creation. Like this is you, all right? This is you. Like this is you. Let that really feel that in your heart. Like, oh, I am an expression of grace. Oh, I do have something good to offer. Oh, wow. And then begin to look around at how that is true for yourself. Begin to notice oh, wow, she just did that, and she just made this change in her life, and we talked about that last week. Or like my boyfriend, he has daughters and they're in their 20s, and they've commonly come to him and they've like, hey dad, I'm doing this new thing with my health. And he's like, you know what? I talk to them all the time about that when they were kids and they just turned their nose up at me, but now they're doing it. So he planted seeds when they were kids and now it's finally blooming forth in their lives. And this happens all the time. Like, we have absolutely no idea the impact that we have on the people in our lives. We have no idea. And I invite you to really look around and try to notice how maybe even the smallest thing, somebody feels better because you said something nice to them, or somebody got enlightened or became a little bit more educated about something or some act that they're doing in their life because you've been honest with them. Look around and go, oh yeah, so I do have something to offer. And like, really let that be true for you, because it already is. You just maybe have a veil that's clouding your understanding of really of that truth, clouding your ability to embody that truth on a very soulful level. All right. So everything is a reflection of everything, which means that your body is a reflection of that perfection too. And if you've been holding on to stories around, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you aren't liked or accepted for the way you look, you can choose to hold on to that. But if you feel like it's a bullshit story that you've accepted and it's holding you down or back from the deepest love you can know, then just keep listening, all right? Pay attention today. Set your intentions today, and set your intention for each chapter of your day, all right? So ask yourself, how will I love myself through this experience? Okay, so today I'm going to see patients or clients or go to work. How am I going to love myself through that? So some people are going to work and they don't love their work. So that's a more challenging experience for someone. Maybe that's a wellness practitioner or a massage therapist that absolutely loves their work. If you're going to a job that you don't like, get out of the job. All right. It's not the highest expression of yourself. Find something that is. Get yourself out of anything that's bringing you down or reflecting to you that you're not good enough. All right. So how will I love myself today through this experience? And go through each experience that you're going to have for each day, each chapter of your day, and set the intention, how will I love myself through this? And then as you go through your day, think back, like keep that question in the forefront of your mind and say, okay, am I loving myself right now? Is this a loving act that I'm doing right now? Do I feel loving right now? Like for me, it was going to the gym and not over-exercising. It's also when I'm loving myself to the fullest, I am very committed to my spiritual practice. I pack my food. I say no more often. I take deep breaths or have a breathing practice or breathwork practice. I'm more present and thoughtful in my relationships or with my patients or with the people that I run into at the grocery store or at the restaurant yesterday. Somebody dropped their jacket and didn't even know on a dirty floor and I picked it up, right? So these are the things that allow us to be in love, like come from that space of love. And if it's not habit, which for me, I like to think I'm in a place of love throughout the day, but it's way easier for me to love up on somebody else than it is myself, okay? And just know when you're loving up on somebody else, it is an expression of self-love. However, if you're loving up on somebody else and then you're demeaning yourself, you got to look at that. You got to correct that imbalance that's happening in your psyche, all right? So how is it that you're going to fall in love with your body or fall in love with your life, I should say, and fall in love with your life? Because your body is an expression of your life. It's the first point of expression of your life. And if you fall in love with your life, you have to be in love with your body because it's all the same, all right? So another thing I really invite you to do is take 5 minutes at night. just 5 minutes at the end of the day, sometime before bed, maybe when you're in the bathtub taking that Epsom salt bath with some lavender essential oils, loving yourself up, and jot down the little sparkles that divine sprinkles throughout your day. Or jot down your wins is another way of saying it. Like, the other day I had this really great experience. So I got to study my podcasting with Roger. So I'm so excited because he's starting his own podcast. So now I've got someone to study with. And then we had great sex, ladies. Oh my God. And then we went snowboarding for just an hour and a half. Like we just popped on the mountain for an hour and a half. And I got to do all of that before seeing my patients. And then I'm in there and we had a few patients cancel their appointments. And then we had a new patient walk in the door. Like I take by appointment only. So if you don't have an appointment, you're not going to usually just walk in the door because I'm stacked. But it just so happened this worked out, and this beautiful, joyous lady comes in the door and she's like, please help me. And she was just the perfect person. This exact kind of woman I would want to work with that brings joy to my life when I can see joy in her life that I bring forth within her. And then I get home from work and I have dinner cooked, right? So that is a bunch of beautiful stuff that's been sprinkled throughout my day that can easily go by unrecognized. Because when I'm in the throes of overdoing and going too fast and not paying attention to the sparkles that are sprinkled throughout my life, then I'm like, okay, I got to get this podcasting done, and I only have an hour and a half on the mountain because I got to get down and see my patients. And then I'm back-to-back patients, and I'm like, go, 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 go. Try to be present with each one without stopping for a breath for myself. So I'm learning to navigate that in a new way by recognizing the sparkles that are sprinkled throughout my life and allowing myself to have more space to breathe, allowing myself to have more space to disconnect from the first patient and then reestablish my connection to God, to Source, so that for the next patient, I can bring that through in a more powerful level. You know, these are all practices that I've been doing for a long time. I've been doing these for a long time, but for me, there's always room for improvement, and maybe that's that perfectionistic piece coming out. But as long as we're not going into I'm not good enough and using it to bring ourselves more into present time consciousness, more into alignment with our truth, more into alignment with our purpose, and more into alignment with the people that we're serving, then that's amazing in my book. All right. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I am so happy to be sharing this with you. And I so hope that this has been inspirational and brings a little divine flicker of sparkliness to your life. Do whatever it takes to turn your soul on. Thank you for tuning in to another awesome episode of Turn Your Soul On Radio. If you're enjoying the show and it's making a difference in your life, I'd be super grateful if you'd head on over to iTunes and leave a heartfelt review, which tremendously helps the growth of the show. Feel free to leave any suggestions or questions in your review, or you can shoot us an email at admin@drbrandyvictory.com. I also would like to invite you to become a deeper part of the Turn Your Soul On Radio community, which you can do by joining our private Facebook group, Turn Your Soul On. I'll leave a link in the show notes for you. Thank you so much for being here today, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a fantastic day.
This podcast is for information purposes only. Dr. Brandy Victory is not a medical doctor, and the views and statements expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Dr. Brandy Victory and the producers, disclaim responsibility from any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. This podcast may contain paid endorsements and advertisements for products or services. Individuals on this podcast may have a direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.